Sometimes as you work on your projects, you will develop a part of your design that can be reused elsewhere in the project. You could, of course, simply use copy and paste for such items, but often a better choice is to make a group. A group gives you a way to manage repetitive items. You make a selection of any objects in your project, you group them, and then anytime if you edit one instance of the group, the change applies to all instances of the group throughout the project. You can use this for common stair towers, common furniture groupings, or even entire room layouts like the one I have here on screen. So I have a version of the condo plan here on screen. If you did the lessons in Chapter 4, then you're familiar with this layout. I've taken it a little further than what we did back in those previous chapters. I have added some annotation to it and a few other items. All the items you see here that we haven't talked about yet, we'll talk about in future lessons. But for now, we're just going to focus on the grouping. This file is called Adding Groups, and it's in the Chapter 5 folder. To create a group is very simple. You just make a window selection around the entire area that you wish to group, and in this case I kept it pretty simple. We can just select everything, so we just drag a window across the whole file, and up on the ribbon it will say multi-select, and this is because we have multiple objects selected, so it can't tell us about any particular type of object. If you wanted to exclude anything from the selection, you could go to Filter, and all the items that we have selected here are listed. In this case I'm going to leave everything selected, and I'm going to click on the Create Group button. Now the shortcut for that is GP if you prefer to do the shortcut. Now when I click that, I'll get a dialog that asks me to name the group that I'm creating. And in fact, there's really two groups being created here. What happens is in Revit, as we've talked about previously, Revit makes a very clear distinction between things that are part of your model and things that are part of the view or that are annotative. So in this case, it's recognizing that my selection includes both types of items. And so it's offering to make a model group from the elements that are part of the model, and then an attached detail group from the elements that are not part of the model, the elements that are annotation. And those elements are things like the room tags and the door tags that I have that you can see there in the background. So what I'm going to do is name the group itself 2-bedroom unit, and I'm going to name the attached detail group just simply tags. So again, you can call these things anything you want, but I'm going to go ahead and click OK there. Now I'm going to deselect everything, and I want to show you how you know you have a group. Basically, if you pre-highlight an item that's a group, you'll get this dashed line that will appear when it pre-highlights rectangular boundary, and that lets you know you have a group. And if I select, I want you to notice that all that selects is the model elements. Notice how the room tags and the door tags are not part of that selection. If I move my mouse around kind of over some of those tags, you'll actually see those highlight as a group as well. And the tooltip tells me that it's an attached detail group. And if I were to click, that would select only the tags and not any of the model geometry. Furthermore, you'd see this little push pin icon right here, which is grayed out. And it's really just Revit's way of letting us know that this group is actually attached to the model. Okay, so that's its sort of indicator, its clue that we've got it attached. Now there's another place where we can see that we have groups in our model, and that's here on the project browser. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. There's an item here called Groups. I'm going to expand that. There are two categories. I'm going to expand Model. It's possible to create a detail group all by itself, standalone, a non-attached detail group. If that were the case, then it would appear here. In our case, because our detail group is attached, it actually appears here, indented beneath the 2-bedroom unit. So you can see that under Model Groups, we have a 2-bedroom unit, and then beneath that, floor plan tags. So not only does it recognize that's an attached group, but it actually is specific to floor plans. If we went into an elevation or section view, we could create another attached detail group for that view as well. So now what do we do with the group once we have it? Well, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'll use my wheel to do this. And the most obvious thing that we can do is copy it around. So perhaps I want this same layout 4 times on this floor plan. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of room here. I'm going to select the group, and here's a tool that we haven't looked at previously. It's called the Mirror tool. I'm going to go ahead and select this on the Modify tab. And there are actually 2 kinds of mirror, and we're going to use both of them in this lesson. So I'll start with this one, the Pick Axis, and the shortcut for that is MM. What this allows you to do is just simply pick on any edge of any existing object, and that edge actually becomes kind of like a plane of glass. If you imagine placing a mirror along that edge, like a literal mirror glass, it would reflect the object along that plane. So if I highlight this wall right here And imagine you're looking down on that pane of glass, and then it kind of becomes clear what's going on. And I just click it. You're going to see the object actually mirror up, so we get a flipped version of it in the other direction. Now, we also got a message that's saying that we have highlighting walls that overlapped, and if I do a zoom region, they're talking about this area right here because there's actually two walls now in the same spot. And we're going to remedy that in just a moment. But let me go back to zoom previous. And again, let's talk about what we've just done. So we've mirrored this object up to the other side. It's still a group. It's an instance of the 2-bedroom condo unit, but we've just sort of made another instance of it up above there. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this wall situation here. If you recall from previous movies, the tab key is a very powerful tool in Revit, and we're going to use that anytime we're having a hard time getting a selection that we want. In this case, we can use the tab key to cycle between all the various objects that are in the same spot. So obviously, if I just tab here, we expect to see it flip between the two groups, but it turns out if you tab one more time, it actually is capable of reaching right into the group and allowing us to select items that are inside the group. Now, if I click this item right here, you'll get a small little icon right there. That icon actually allows me to exclude one instance of this double wall so that everything cleans up nicely and I don't have a redundant wall there. So from the point of view of creating a nice clean floor plan, everything makes a lot more sense. We don't have this double wall, but yet we still get the benefit of managing this condo layout with a group. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, suppose I want to actually make a change to the condo unit after I've already done the mirroring. If I had just simply done copy and paste, then it would be difficult because I'd have to go and make the same change in two locations. But by doing this with a group, I can actually make the change and it will apply across all instances of the group. So I'm going to do a really simple change. I'm going to select this group and I'm going to choose the Edit Group button here on the ribbon, or you type EG if you want the shortcut. And let's do something really, really simple here that will be noticeable. I'll just add another window. Now I'm going to go ahead from my list here and I'll choose this casement double with trim. And I'll put a window right here in this bedroom. I'm going to go ahead and click Modify, and there's this floating toolbar right here that you use to get out of Edit Group mode. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. And as soon as I do, you'll see that change applies across the way to the other instance of the group. So that's a pretty quick and easy example, but it gives you an idea of what the benefit of using groups is. So let's go ahead and mirror one more time. I'm going to select this guy and this guy. And this time, because I don't want these to be butted right up against each other, I need to allow room over here for an elevator lobby and some stairs and so forth. I'm going to use this icon instead. The shortcut is DM and it's draw the mirror axis. So rather than selecting an object to use as an axis, I'm actually going to pick 2 points to show it where the axis is. So I'm going to do that by coming over here and kind of just moving my mouse using the temporary dimension. 8 feet will give me a total of a 16-foot corridor, so I want to actually drop that back to about 7.6, and you just kind of pull it down straight. As long as I've got a 90 degree there, I should be good, and I'll click again, and there you have it. Now, of course, I will need to come in and add some walls and some stairs and so forth, and we'll do that in future movies, but pretty much that gives me the total layout here. Now, one last finishing touch. This is the only one that has the attached detail group. So what about the rest? Well, it turns out that you can actually select these other groups, and I'll do those two with a crossing window and this one with my control key. And on the ribbon, you have this attached detail groups button. And if I click that, I can simply check the floor plan tags checkbox, click OK. And it will add all of those tags that are in the other group to all instances of the group that I had selected. And more importantly, they will even be right reading. So there you have it. There's a few examples of using groups in your projects.